Chapter 2. The Journey Begins. Elara knew that she had to act quickly. The light from the heart of the forest grew brighter, casting a protective glow around her as she made her way through the whispering woods. The forest, once familiar, now seemed darker, more sinister, as if the very trees were watching her every move. As she walked, the path before her began to twist and turn, leading her deeper into the unknown. The air grew colder, and the trees thicker, their branches intertwining to form a dense canopy that blocked out the moonlight. But the heart's light guided her, illuminating the way forward. After what felt like hours of walking, Elara came upon a narrow bridge spanning a deep chasm. The bridge was old and rickety, swaying dangerously in the wind. On the other side, she could see the entrance to a dark cave, the source of the darkness she had to face. Taking a deep breath, Elara stepped onto the bridge, gripping the ropes tightly as she made her way across. The wind howled around her, and the bridge creaked ominously with every step. But she pressed on, focusing on the light of the heart to calm her nerves. Suddenly, a shadowy figure appeared in the middle of the bridge, blocking her path. It was a tall, menacing creature with glowing red eyes and long, sharp claws. Its body seemed to be made of pure darkness, shifting and swirling like a cloud of smoke. "Turn back, child!" the creature hissed, its voice echoing through the chasm. "You cannot defeat the darkness! It will consume you!" Elara's heart raced, but she stood her ground. "I will not turn back," she said firmly. "I will protect the forest no matter what!" The creature snarled and lunged at her, its claws outstretched. But before it could reach her, the heart of the forest flared with light, and the creature recoiled with a screech, retreating into the shadows. Elara took a deep breath and continued across the bridge, her hands shaking but her resolve stronger than ever. She reached the other side and approached the cave, its entrance looming before her like a gaping maw. As she stepped inside, the darkness closed in around her, swallowing the light of the heart almost completely. The air was thick and oppressive, and Elara could feel the weight of the darkness pressing down on her. But she didn't falter. She knew she had to keep going. The cave twisted and turned, its walls covered in strange glowing symbols that pulsed with an eerie light. As she ventured deeper, she heard whispers, low and indistinct, like voices carried on the wind. They seemed to be calling her name, urging her to turn back, to give in to the darkness. But Elara pressed on, her grip on the heart tightening. "I won't give up," she whispered to herself, forcing her legs to keep moving. Finally, she reached the heart of the cave, a vast chamber filled with swirling shadows. In the center stood a massive, twisted tree, its branches blackened and withered, oozing a dark, tar-like substance. The air around it was thick with the stench of decay, and the shadows seemed to dance around it, feeding off its darkness. Elara knew this was the source of the corruption. She held the heart of the forest out before her, willing its light to grow. But as the light expanded, the darkness fought back, pushing against it with a force that nearly knocked her off her feet. "You cannot defeat me, child," a deep, booming voice echoed through the chamber. "I am the darkness that has always been and always will be. You are nothing." Elara gritted her teeth, her hands trembling as she focused all her energy into the heart. "You're wrong," she shouted, her voice echoing through the chamber. "I may be small, but I have something you don't. Hope." With that, the heart of the forest erupted with light, its radiance filling the chamber and pushing back the darkness. The shadows screeched and writhed, but they couldn't withstand the power of the heart. The twisted tree began to crack and crumble, its dark energy dissipating into the light. Finally, with a deafening roar, the darkness shattered, and the chamber was flooded with brilliant, pure light. The twisted tree collapsed into dust, and the shadows were banished, leaving only the soft glow of the heart of the forest. Elara fell to her knees, exhausted but victorious. The air around her felt lighter, fresher, as if the weight of the darkness had been lifted. The heart of the forest floated gently in front of her, its light now soft and warm. "You did it, Elara," a familiar voice said. Elara looked up to see Silva standing before her, her expression full of pride. "The forest is safe, thanks to you." Elara smiled weakly, her body heavy with exhaustion. "I couldn't have done it without the heart," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Silva knelt beside her, placing a hand on her shoulder. "The heart may have guided you, but it was your courage and determination that saved the forest," she said gently. "You are the true guardian now." Elara's eyes widened in surprise. "Me? But I'm just a girl." Silva smiled and shook her head. "You are much more than that, Elara. You are a protector, a warrior, and a beacon of hope. The heart of the forest has chosen you for a reason. You have a special connection to the forest, and now it is your duty to protect it." Elara took a deep breath, letting Silva's words sink in. It was a daunting responsibility, but she knew in her heart that she was ready. "I'll do my best," she promised. Silva nodded, her smile warm and reassuring. "I know you will. And remember, you are never alone. The forest will always be with you, guiding and supporting you." With that, Silva slowly faded away, leaving Elara alone in the chamber. The heart of the forest pulsed with light, and Elara felt a surge of warmth and strength flow through her. She knew that this was just the beginning of her journey, but she was ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. As she made her way out of the cave, the light of the heart illuminated the path before her, guiding her back to the village. The forest felt different now, more alive, as if it were welcoming her as its new guardian. When she finally emerged from the whispering woods, the first light of dawn was breaking over the horizon. The village of Everwood was still asleep, unaware of the dangers that had been averted during the night. Elara smiled to herself, knowing that she had protected her home and the forest she loved so much. As she walked back to her house, she felt a sense of peace and fulfillment that she had never known before. She had discovered her true purpose, and she knew that she would do whatever it took to protect the forest and all its inhabitants. And so, from that day forward, Elara became the guardian of the Whispering Woods. She watched over the forest, ensuring that its magic and beauty were preserved for generations to come. And though the villagers never knew of the dangers she faced, they could sense that the forest was safer, more vibrant, thanks to the brave girl who had ventured into its depths and emerged victorious.